the Chainlink and the blockchain community for joining us today. Really want to thank Jesse and Dan for joining us on the other side of the world. Really excited to learn a lot more about Aavegotchi, Chainlink VRF, and all the cool things that you guys are working on. The goal of this Q&A is to show the community a little bit more about the integration between Aavegotchi and Chainlink, what makes the integration unique, as well as show a little bit about what you guys are working on and kind of go deeper into what it is. So the agenda it'll be 20 to 30 minutes Q&A structure. They also have a presentation that we'll be sharing that goes a little deeper into everything that Aavegotchi is working on. So without further ado, thanks again, Jesse and Dan, for joining.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Cool. Yep. Yeah, maybe to start, do you want to maybe just introduce yourself? Jesse, you want to start and give us a little bit about your background and what your team is working on?
Sure. So the road to Aavegotchi has been a long one that luckily me and Dan as co-founders, we've kind of known each other for quite a few years now and go pretty far back. And yeah, as you mentioned, we're both based in Asia. So I'm currently in Singapore. And before that, I was living in mainland China. That's when I first met Dan. At that time, he was coding on iOS, and I was working for Lenovo at the time. They had just acquired Motorola, and I just ended up working over there for about 4 years in their mobile unit. But somewhere along the way, discovered crypto and started working on, well, really just getting involved in the community on a number of levels, and ended up working for a couple of projects that were on the US side, and both of us are bilingual. So I was kind of bringing over projects, helping them get introduced to the Chinese market, and got to meet a lot of people throughout, from Beijing through down to Shenzhen and Hong Kong. And eventually ended up in a situation where about 2.5 years ago, I was able to move to Singapore. And at that time I was working for ZB, which is a crypto exchange out of China, one of the oldest and largest out of there. And, but my real interest was with NFTs. So all my free time was with non-fungible tokens and working with this kind of area. And in fact, co-founded this project called Mintable, which was the first no-code solution to mint, tokenize any of your metadata. So you could take your images and start tokenizing them on the Ethereum blockchain. And did that, ended up participating in a really great incubator here in a place called Longhash. And through that kind of was also involved in a DAO, because it's like when you're in crypto, you do a little bit of everything. And so there was exchanges, there was NFTs, and then whatever was left of free time went to DAOs. And I was working with Digix DAO just as someone involved in it, holding the governance tokens. And they have a DGX kind of gold token. So at that time, I had this idea of taking what we were doing with Mintable and using the NFT technology to kind of make stablecoins more interesting. Because I found, these gold stablecoins, 1 gram is 1 DGX is fine, but holding them doesn't give me the same sort of feeling at all compared to my silver or gold coin collection from growing up. It's a totally different experience. You can't feel it. There's no story behind the artwork. And there just seemed to be a really good opportunity there. So ended up making a proposal on the DAO to fund this idea for value staked NFTs, and ended up working with the team from Mintable to write the smart contracts to do this kind of, it was pretty pioneering at the time. This was, we launched it earlier this year, but crypto moves so fast. And the idea was value staked NFTs, where you basically have an escrow contract holding ERC20 tokens that are tied to this 721, and they travel with it wherever they go, and you hold that claim, on chain. And anyway, as we were building the team for that, first person I called was Coder Dan, because I was like, I just know he's meticulous with his work, and knew he would be able to build. Really, the idea at the start was to build the front end, and he ended up building a lot more of it for it. So yeah, that's live now. That's called bullionx.io, and we still issue new coins. They're rare, they're collectible, and they're weighted with real gold. And it's a great demonstration of this idea of having value staked NFTs. Now we've kind of taken that idea and we said, okay, let's do it on a bigger scale with a more interesting idea. Some of these DeFi aspects can also be staked to NFTs. And a lot of that came from Coder Dan's side and his experience with the ETH hackathon and working with the Aave team. So Dan, if you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, great intro. So yeah, hey guys, Coder Dan here. And A little bit about me. So I got into coding about 2013, 2014, doing an app called Highway. It was basically a language learning app. And I started kind of learning JavaScript and Objective-C, Swift. It was an iOS app. And so basically I've been living in Asia since about 2011. I was actually a major in Chinese, not computer science, but I love programming. I think it's so fun to do. So I've always like enjoyed learning new languages, whether they're spoken or written. And so my journey, I've done a lot of things. I've done the Highway app. I also was kind of a minor celebrity in China for a while. Had about 1 million fans on different platforms. I was an English language learning KOL for a few years, and stopped doing it for a couple of reasons. One of which was because I got so interested in crypto, got bitten by the crypto bug in like 2016, and started spending more and more energy learning about crypto, learning about Bitcoin, Ethereum, just blockchain in general. And took me all the way up to about 2019 is when I really decided to focus all my energy on crypto and started learning Solidity and the Web3 library and things like that. So when Jesse called me to work on Bullynix, I was totally pumped, totally stoked to do it. And we worked on that for we're still doing it now, but we spent a good probably 4 or 5 months building it and testing it. Finally launched it in I think it was March or very early April, and it went really well. But at the time, after we kind of built it and had it going, I had some free time. So I was like, well, I'm gonna learn more about DeFi. DeFi at the time was starting to get really big. I think the total volume locked was like 500 million back then, and compared to now, I think it's 10 billion or something crazy. So I was like, I'm going to learn about DeFi, and I looked through DeFi Pulse, looking at all the different projects. And I researched Compound a little bit, and researched Aave. And when I got to Aave, I was looking at their A tokens, and I was thinking, wow, these are really cool. They basically, the number goes up in the wallet without you having to do anything. It's like magic. So we were looking at the time, Jesse and I were discussing how can we make our value staked NFT idea bigger. And I was like, what if we take these interest generating A tokens and we stick them in an NFT? What would that look like? And then we started brainstorming. At the time, I was trapped in Sri Lanka. I just actually returned to mainland China like a month ago, trapped in Sri Lanka because of COVID. So we were having these brainstorm sessions, and basically what it ended up becoming was we looked at the Aave logo and we were like, that thing is so cute. It's so kawaii. And just suddenly, I don't know how it really came about, but we just started thinking like, what if this idea of like this ghost being staked with A tokens and doing things with the A tokens. And suddenly, I don't know how we got the idea of Tamagotchi, but probably because we're really like, I'm into like retro games and stuff. So I was just like, what if we call it Aavegotchi? Like, it's a thing that you have to play with over time and make sure that you're managing your yield well, and you're managing it, and it's like a game. So we applied for an ecosystem grant from Aave for 5,000 DAI, and we applied for that back in like June, and they didn't really hear much back from them until like July 1st. We'd kind of already just forgotten about the idea, or weren't really planning to do it if they weren't going to support it. But we got the email back, and they were like, yeah, that sounds awesome. Like, you guys should definitely do that. And feel free to use our logo. Feel free to use the name. It was very open source kind of ethos with that. So we just said, yeah, that's awesome. Let's do it. And we started basically working essentially full time on creating this, all the materials for our Daiko that we wanted to do for it, and working on all that and getting all the planning done. And by August, we were pretty much ready to go. We launched our community, launched our socials, our Discord, and it's been incredible how the community has grown in our Discord with our missions that we do. But that's kind of another topic that we don't really have time to talk about. But just in general, yeah, we launched our DICO, our Ghost token, which is the ecosystem, eco-governance token of Aavegotchi. We launched that in about 2 weeks ago, and it's done really well. It's been live. People have been trading it. People have been playing with it, and we actually just launched our staking on testnet that we're going to be doing with Ghost as well. Staking Ghost to get friends, and actually I think we have a little surprise for everyone coming up in a bit here about that. But yeah, I guess that's probably enough intro about me, and I guess we can talk more about the Aavegotchi game mechanics. Do you want to talk about that, Jeff, going across? And then I'll talk about the VRF a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, definitely we have a lot going on with the VRF and Chainlink. So I know Dan can speak more about that. I guess first, before we get to that, I'll just give a brief overview of how the game works for anybody that this is totally new to. So basically what you have are these DeFi-staked collaterals. We took the idea of having a value staked NFT and brought in the A tokens. And I love how intuitive they are, because with anything we're building, we always are obsessed with making things very user-friendly, very intuitive. And one of the big driving forces behind this idea was, you know, when we looked at the DeFi landscape, we were like, where can we make DeFi approachable? And the Aave A tokens are a great starting point. And then really the whole Aavegotchi game is about making DeFi less intimidating, putting it in a totally friendly, inviting type of presentation that might bring on more people to try DeFi and to try NFTs. So we really want to expand the margins and get new people to come in and interact with these amazing systems that are being built by all sorts of talented teams. So yeah, that was, I mean, basically the real idea. I won't go through the whole presentation here, but just want to show some visuals so you can see what's going on here. Like here, you'll see that there's a bunch of Aavegotchi. We went with a very simple pixelated format to go with that aesthetic. We're like, we're not going to do complicated 3D art. We're just going to do pixel art because it's low barriers to entry. And Keenan, if you want to make pixelated wearables in our universe someday, I think you can probably pick it up and make that happen. So we think just about anybody can. But yeah, what you see here are different A token collaterals staked inside these different Aavegotchi. So where's the Chainlink one? I think you can spot him near the top where he belongs, where it belongs. And below that is the DAI. These are all A versions, right? So like A link and A DAI. These, you put them in your wallet. You have 1,000 of them in your wallet today. Tomorrow you wake up and you have 1,002 or 1,003. It's just so friendly in how they work. So they're staked inside. So you basically have like this NFT piggy bank, and it has DeFi collateral staked inside with randomized traits, which you can guess how we achieve those. Rarity levels that are also randomly generated. And then the wearable NFTs, which are more than just, if you're familiar with Wearables, it's basically like an RPG where you're equipping your character with different items and powers. So these are power-ups, these are fashion, it's all those things in one, and they're more collectibles. So you have collectibles on top of collectibles. And the idea is that, at least in Aavegotchi's case, certain wearables are only accessible, or you can only equip them if your Aavegotchi is at a certain level or is a certain collateral. So there are even certain wearables that are exclusive to particular collaterals. And I think what you'll see is people will start with one Aavegotchi, but if the user experience is if we achieve our goal, then you're going to want to have a lot of different Aavegotchi. You're going to want to build your own squad, your own team. And I think some people will want to have a little bit of every collateral, while others might just have the ultimate, you know, A-Link Aavegotchi team or something like that. But it kind of works this way. You're going to be getting portals. This will probably be by the end of the year. These portals will be live. They'll be the NFTs. And you're going to basically buy a portal. There's only 10,000 of them at launch. And then once you have it, you're going to open it. The act of opening it engages with the VRF, and you're going to randomly generate 10 different Aavegotchi. And those 10 Aavegotchi have different traits, different collaterals, and you're only going to be able to choose one to actually stake collateral into and keep. the other 9 are going to disappear. So you can only summon one Aavegotchi through the portal from the realm they're coming from to the realm that we can interact with them in. And then once you have that Aavegotchi, it's the same NFT, but the metadata is transformed. And now you have this one Aavegotchi that you can name, train, vote, and play with in the mini games, the metaverse. There's a pixelated metaverse that ties all of this together. And yeah, it's going to be a really fun experience seeing how people can interact with basically these Web3 avatars. So Dan, maybe this is a good point where you could talk a little bit about what's really happening here.
Yeah, so the VRF is something we heard about several months ago, and I know it's been in testnet for a while. We've played with it, and we're really excited about it because, as a lot of our friends know, randomness on the Ethereum blockchain really isn't very.
Uh-oh, is that just me?
No, I think.
Oh, am I gone?
You're back now.
Okay. So randomness is a big issue in the Ethereum blockchain. Having verifiable on-chain randomness is really quite difficult to do. But it sounds like the Chainlink team has cracked it, and we're just super excited to be able to use VRF in several different areas of Aavegotchi. The first place we're going to be using it is in these portals. So the moment you buy a portal, you haven't opened it yet, but you've bought it. It's an NFT. It's in your wallet. And when you're ready to open it, you're going to click the open button. And at that moment, the VRF will be fired. And the VRF has a callback function. So it doesn't happen instantly. It takes a few blocks to generate the number and send it back. So basically, you'll be waiting a few blocks once you. The portal NFT will know what the random number is. It'll save the random number, and then it will generate the 10 different Aavegotchis based on that number. And what is it generating? Well, first of all, it's generating the collateral. The collateral of the Aavegotchi will be randomized. So you can't just say, I want a Chainlink one, I want a Lend one, or an Aave one, I want a DAI. The collaterals themselves are going to be randomly selected from of all the different whitelisted A tokens that are available for staking at that moment, which over time that list will be increased or possibly decreased by the DAO, by the Aavegotchi DAO that's managing all this. So you might get an Aavegotchi that has like super cool traits, but it may not be the collateral that you want. So you'll have to make a choice there. And I think that'll lead to lots of different collaterals rather than one collateral type like being the most popular of all of them. So the second part that it will generate is the actual traits themselves. Aavegotchis have different traits that are on a scale of 0 to 100, and actually the 0 and the 100 are we've used a bell curve. So if you imagine a bell curve with the highest, the most in the middle, the highest, the middle variables, like the middle numbers, say from 50 to 74, I believe it is. Those are common because it's really easy to get those. So basically what we're doing is we're using the VRF random number to generate a 0 to 100 value for each trait that an Aavegotchi has. So one of the traits they have is aggressiveness, how aggressive your Aavegotchi is. So 100 is like warlike, and a 0 is like super docile. But those are both the 0 and the 1 and the 99 and the 100. Those are actually extremely rare traits because it's hard to get a 0, 1 or a 99 and 100. So those are actually the rarest traits. So basically each trait will be on this scale from 0 to 100, and the VRF number will generate that number for each of the 6 traits that we currently have. And so that's basically how we use VRF for the Aavegotchis themselves. But that's really just the beginning of how we'll be using VRF, because we're a game and most games use randomness. So we're really excited to be using VRF in the mini games, the mini game ecosystem that Aavegotchi is also going to have in our realm. So there will be mini games. There'll be we imagine races between Aavegotchis. You could each other in a fight club, have them like fighting with each other, and there will be all sorts of just different games that rely on randomness. And for that, we'll definitely be using the VRF. And there's also, I think Jesse, also we've discussed using it in the DAO itself as like a way of selecting different community members to be the jurors for different decisions that the DAO needs to make. If you imagine this idea of like representative democracy, then you could have like different representatives that are being selected by the VRF and during a vote period.
Yeah, it could be
it
could be a very fair way to maybe, you have a dozen people that are willing to do a certain job, but every week it randomly selects one of you for jury duty, that kind of thing. So it could be really, really cool in that sense. And this can, of course, we'll have incentives. You can earn badges and different things to equip your Aavegotchi with. So, he's like, I voted in that big event on the DAO in 2022 or whatever, and then he'll always have that with him. So, but the DAO can play the VRF can play a big role in making the DAO more interesting, for sure. Keep everybody on their toes.
Yeah, no, appreciate you guys sharing all this, and then sharing your backgrounds as well. This is absolutely fascinating, and yeah, I'm blown away by the work that you guys are building here with this ecosystem. See, like, one question. So what are like some of the special features for like the Chainlink Aavegotchi?
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
So there's going to be special.
As Jesse mentioned, different Aavegotchi collateral types. Basically, whichever collateral type you have, there will be certain wearables that are available only to that collateral type. So I think we have, Jesse, if you want to share the Twitter post we made a couple days ago. So we have this, we recently launched this staking, this ghost staking, stake ghost earn friends campaign. And what that basically is we're going to be giving away wearables via a raffle mechanism. And most of those wearables are going to be related to different integrations that Aavegotchi has with different teams. So one of those obviously is Chainlink, and we've prepared quite a few different special wearables for our Link Marines. So I think we're going to look at a couple of them right now.
Yeah, sorry. There's so many posts. I think it's down.
Yeah, there's right under there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, here we go. So as you can see from September 29th, we are talking about
click on
instant clout. And let me see if I can load it. Can you see that?
Yeah.
You might recognize that guy. He might look pretty familiar, that Aavegotchi. So this is our DAO overworld, first of all, where we are. There's a DAO overworld called the Realm. And so this is where your Aavegotchi are going to be able to interact and actually own parcels and build out together. But yes, what you see here is a mock-up of the Realm with some of our upcoming wearables. So we have some really special edition wearables coming out through this staking mechanism that Dan just introduced, where you stake ghost and make friends, FRENS. And so the friends are points, they're non-transferable, but what you can do is you can exchange them for raffle tickets to win these extremely rare and first edition wearables. And so what we're doing is it's friends because it's all the partners and the different people in the space that have either influenced us, influenced the project, or are doing good work in the space. And in this case, yeah, we'll have a very extremely rare Sergey set that I hope one day he'll get to see and appreciate. But we were like, I think one day we were talking about all the wearables we want, and we had some shirts and some different things. And I was like, oh my gosh, we got to get a plaid shirt. We got to get a plaid shirt going. And Zbot, our lead director, our art director, he came back really fast and was like, does this look about right? And I was like, yeah, I think this will work. So here, I can zoom in a bit. So this is
beard
just
too. The beard will also be like a wearable for the face. So you'll have the face beard, you'll have the eyes, I believe are like a special type, the plaid shirt, and we'll also have like a Link cube. I don't think we featured it there, but we have a Link cube as well that will be featured as an item. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there's going to be a lot of link theme things within reason, and obviously link marines. There's a nod to that idea with because there's different rarity levels for the wearables. You kind of get an illustration of that here because you see kind of the common, uncommon, rare. There's 6 levels. So the bottom 3 levels, you can see some of those represented here on the marines, the basic marines, these guys, and then for the elites, for the really hard to get ones. Oh, I zoomed out there. Then you see some of these really, I mean, it's blurry in this shot. I think I got a better one here in a minute I can pull up, but the detail work that Zbot put on this wearable suit, this jacket is just, it's my favorite wearable of all the wearables
Sure.
I'm working on by far. I think it's in the thread. I'm going to see if we can find it.
Yeah, it is above it. Yep, the one above.
There he is. Yeah, this guy is just too serious. So you get the wearable hat, the wearable cloak, and then his walkie-talkie. So these will be extremely rare. There's the highest levels are godlike, which might be a 1 of 1 or 2 of 2, like extremely rare. And then the next level is like mythical, and then it goes down from there. So this guy here is an example of a mythical and godlike level wearables. And the guys in the back are more like rare and uncommon. So
I'm blown away. This is amazing. Pioneers in the space. It's crazy how far things have come from just, Cryptokitties a few years back, and now being able to take, these real world assets and value that's based on with Aave and different things, and being able to kind of tie that all together. So are these wearables, are they transferable to other users within the ecosystem?
Totally. Yeah. And the wearables themselves are actually inheriting another standard that is, we're kind of pioneering that as well. We didn't create it, but one of our team, our Solidity lead, Nick Mudge, is the co-author of the ERC 998 standard, which is for composable NFTs, basically. So the wearables themselves, if we want to give the option, you could actually stake collaterals into the wearable itself, and the collateral would move. So you could stake 1,000 link or something into one of these wearables, and that link would transfer whenever you sold it on the open market. So there's a lot of cool things we can do with that as far as like adding power-ups. If you imagine like a sword, and you have like, if you're playing like Diablo or something, and you have like these charms that you can put into the sword to power it up or something, we could have things like that where you insert a power-up into a wearable to make it even more powerful, and it like increase the rarity score and things like that. So lots of fun experiments are going to be going on here, and I'm just super excited for it.
Yeah, this is cool. I can't wait for it to launch. And then are you able to like meet with like other users within like the realm and like kind of like interact with each other and create little clans and different things?
Yeah, exactly. That's our Aavegotchi realm, and we actually have we're making some decent progress on that. We plan to launch it in Q1 2021, maybe faster, we'll see. That's going to be basically the overworld. It's kind of like a Zelda-ish overworld where you can use your pixelated Aavegotchi avatar to interact with, like, to hang out with other friends in the overworld. You'll be able to chat, maybe voice chat, things like that. So it should be really fun too, and play mini games together and vote.
Yeah, I think one of the most exciting parts of, having been a member of a few DAOs now and realizing that voter apathy is a big issue. It always sounds fun to join a DAO, and then you have to deal with gas fees and just a lot of boring dashboards. So we have 3 iterations of our DAO, but by the last one, the DAO will actually be integrated with the realm. So if you can imagine, instead of addressing apathy from like incentives and airdrop tokens or whatever type of approach, not that there's anything wrong with that, then you can also address it from a situation where you make it event-based. Maybe not for all votes. We're going to experiment with this, but you should be able to have event-based voting inside a realm, so that you actually have a meetup, a virtual meetup with all your Aavegotchis gathering, and it has some consequence. It's kind of like the meetups in Cryptovoxels. If you've ever been to a WIP meetup or any of the things going on there, they'll get a few hundred people together every Thursday or something, but there's no voting going on. So we'd like to add in this voting mechanism where decisions can be made and badges can be earned for showing up and doing some activities in the realm, and actually it'll have, you know, effects in the governance. So it's going to be a lot of fun on that level too. The DAO will be a really cool, the realm will be a very cool place with a bit of DAO sprinkled on top. So
yeah, this is amazing. I mean, I feel like I am listening to the future of, you know, what crypto and gaming is, being able to kind of just like combine these all into this whole ecosystem is absolutely amazing. I can already see like kind of like the way of gamifying this and being able to go to, you know, a little meetup or like a courthouse to be able to decide whatever's happening, I think is just
the town square.
The town square, yeah. This is so cool, guys. Cool. Yeah, is there anything else? So we kind of saw you guys' Twitter where people can go, and everyone should definitely go give a follow, get all their updates that will be coming out. Is there anything else that maybe we left off that you guys want to talk about?
Just the stake coming soon. And
yeah, one thing a lot of people will ask, like, if you go to aavegotchi.com/curve, you'll see that we do require KYC to buy Ghost, our eco governance token. I don't know if you want to show them. Yeah, show them the curve real quick. But so because we are doing a DICO, we live in a society, we do have to do KYC to buy Ghost token from the curve, because it is a form of like an ICO. But Ghost is also available on like Uniswap, Balancer, quite a few other centralized exchanges. So it's not too hard to get as well. I know some people are worried that like they won't be able to get their Ghost, but for the main game itself, for the Aavegotchi game itself, you won't have to do any KYC. It's just for buying the Ghost token from the bonding curve.
yeah, I think of the bonding curve as, if you're going in there, that's where the Ghost are minted. That's the source. So this curve here, every time you want to buy Ghost from this curve, you're actually minting Ghost. And it's actually a very fair, very transparent way to do things, which is why we went this route, because we went this DAICO idea that, there's a lot of responsibility put on the core team. We don't get all the funds that come in right away. We don't even get 1% of the funds that come in right away. Instead, they all rest inside this curve. So all that DAI that you see in the reserve is actually backed in this curve. And so that's why we wanted to do that way. We did have to do KYC with it, but you don't have to buy it here. There's other places to do it. But if you're going to go to the source and actually mint Ghost, then that's when we have to do that. So,
and buying it from the curve actually does support the team. There is a tap mechanism that is basically activated every month. So if you go to that, if you look at that reserve, it says 9.3 million DAI. Basically every month, the core team can take a small amount. Currently it's set at 50,000 DAI. So we can basically withdraw that from the reserve, which affects the slippage like in a very, very small amount. And that money is then used to like pay for development, marketing, DAO proposals as well. So that number can also be increased or decreased through a community vote. And basically that's the DICO, that's the sustainable, responsible alternative to the ICO method of the mechanism of 2017, where we all kind of saw how that went. So it's it's like the very accountable method of doing a token sale. We're really happy with it. Puts more responsibility on us as the core team to deliver, which was what we want to do. We want to build this out. We're not trying to do a token sale and then move to Malta, which a lot of teams like to do.
Right. So it's kind of a hot topic right now. So yeah, we just thought that's one of the most common questions we get is, what is this bonding curve and why is it continuous? And so, yeah, it's definitely worth mentioning that,
Yeah. So how many people are on your team and are working on this at the moment?
Yeah, so we've got a core team of 4 summoners. Myself, let's see, I might even have the picture. Yeah, right here. Coder Dan, Javier, also known as Zbot. He is the art director and kind of the visionary. He really helped us realize the aesthetic we wanted, and he's done an amazing job on that. And then Nick Mudge, who is our Solidity lead and really extremely talented in everything he's done. He's, like you said, co-author of the 998 standard and now the author of the Diamond Standard, which we're using, which makes all this stuff possible, where basically the Aavegotchi himself is the parent NFT, and all his
Well, that's
wearables.
the composables. That's the 998.
Right.
The Diamond Standard is for upgradable contracts, which is kind of also like a very experimental thing, and it's a lot of power. Like if you imagine like an Open Zeppelin upgradable contract, if anyone can go in and upgrade the contract at any time, that's a lot of power. So we are going to be using upgradable contracts via the Diamond Standard, but the power to upgrade it will be held by the community, by the DAO itself. So people will have to vote. Someone will have to, make a proposal to write some code. Someone will write it. Someone will review it. It might be audited. And then finally, the DAO will vote to push that code and merge it into the main repo and then actually call the function on the blockchain to update it. So that's kind of the way that the upgradable contracts should be used, in our opinion. And we're kind of like going against the grain a little bit in some ways. A lot of people believe that Ethereum smart contracts should never be updated, never be upgraded, but that's not really realistic anymore. Things are just changing so fast that it's hard to do that. So we believe that a DAO governed upgradable contract is the best way to go forward. And we'll see if it's right, but that's at least what we're trying.
Yeah, and then beyond these 4 core summoners, then we are growing out the team quite quickly with community leaders. We have an amazing team of apprentices that are active in our Discord. So we have a dozen apprentices now that actually help guide people and onboard them to the Aavegotchi experience. And we have this amazing system called missions, where you actually earn badges in the Discord by just reading our white paper, reading the light paper, commenting on our slide deck, doing these different things and posting screenshots of it, evidence of your work. And we'll actually reward you or like recognize you with different badges. So your agent rank goes up. And so we've got an amazing team of community leaders in the Discord that are helping with that. And yeah, more and more artists all the time reaching out. And then of course, a team of legal and all that good stuff too. So yeah, a little bit of everybody.
Love it. This is amazing. I'm very, very blown away. I'm very excited for this launch, and yeah. So we see like your Twitters here, and you kind of mentioned, is Discord the best place for people to follow your progress and come kind of get on the journey with you guys as you guys are starting?
So yeah, Discord's really good. We also have a Telegram. You can just go at Aavegotchi and you'll be there. If you're fans, if people are listening and they're into other languages, we have Chinese, French, Spanish, all those different languages opening, Korean, one by one. So, but yeah, Discord is like there's just so much happening there in terms of missions and different things going on. So I'd say it's the best spot to be.
Cool. Yeah, we'll make sure to drop all those links into the description after this. And we were talking before, so it sounds like you guys are working on some other really exciting things with some people in the ecosystem about, limiting gas costs and different things that you'll be talking about later. So make sure to definitely join our Discord and stay up to date with all that. Is there anything else that you guys want to mention?
Yeah, that's about it, I guess. We could
Cool.
go on and on, but those are the basics.
Yeah, this is amazing, and I think we got to give a special shout out to Aave. I love Aave. They've definitely being able to make all this possible is very exciting too. So cool, Jesse, Dan, really want to thank you guys. This was a lot of fun. Really appreciate you guys showing everything that you guys are working on and staying up late where you are on the other side of the world.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks, Keenan. It's been awesome.
Yeah, and everyone else in the audience, again, we'll drop the links into the description below and keep you up to date with Aavegotchi's progress. And yeah, see you next time.
Yep. Okay. All right. See ya.
Thanks, guys. See you.